The healing waters. One summer day, in a serene monastery nestled at the foot of a mountain, Buddha sat under a tree, surrounded by a group of his disciples. The air was warm, and the sun hung lazily in the sky. The village nearby was experiencing a hot spell, and the villagers had to endure the relentless heat, causing tempers to flare and frustrations to rise. Among the disciples was a young man named Ananda, who had been practicing meditation under Buddha's guidance for several months. Though he had made significant progress, he still struggled with his temper. It was not uncommon for Ananda to get irritated over small things, whether it was the noise from the neighboring village or the slow pace of his meditation progress. On this particular day, Ananda's frustration reached its peak. The heat of the sun was unbearable, and the work in the garden felt like an endless task. The moment Buddha spoke to the group about patience and compassion, Ananda's mind was clouded by his irritation. "Why must we endure this sweltering heat?" Ananda muttered under his breath, as beads of sweat dripped down his forehead. "It feels impossible to focus, and it's making everything more difficult. How can one remain peaceful in such unbearable conditions?" Buddha, always patient and understanding, observed Ananda's growing frustration. Instead of responding with advice immediately, he quietly rose from his seat and motioned for Ananda to follow him. Without speaking, Buddha led the young disciple to a stream that flowed gently through the monastery grounds. The water sparkled in the sunlight, and the soft sound of the stream bubbling over the rocks was soothing. Ananda, curious, stood by the water, his frustration still lingering in the back of his mind. Buddha knelt down and placed his hand into the cool, flowing stream, watching as the water cascaded over his fingers. "Ananda," Buddha said gently, "do you see the way the water flows, calmly and steadily, no matter how the rocks may obstruct it?" Ananda nodded, still feeling the weight of the heat in his bones. "Yes, I see it. The water moves around the rocks, undisturbed. But what does this have to do with my anger?" Buddha smiled, looking up at the young disciple. "Just as the water flows peacefully over obstacles, so too can kindness flow through your heart, soothing the heat of anger and frustration. When you feel the heat of anger rise within you, it is like the scorching sun that burns the earth. But kindness, like water, can cool and calm the flames." Ananda looked puzzled. "But how can kindness soothe anger? When I am angry, I cannot simply turn it off." Buddha gently lifted a small stone from the stream and held it in his hand. "Imagine this stone as your anger. When you hold it tightly, it burns you. It feels heavy and unyielding. But if you release it and allow the water to flow freely, the stone is no longer a burden. The same is true for your anger. When you allow kindness to flow, it can dissolve the heat of anger and bring peace to your heart." Ananda, still skeptical, stared at the stone in Buddha's hand. He then slowly let go of the thought that had been consuming him, the discomfort of the heat and the frustration with his work. He looked down at the water again, watching as it flowed endlessly without resistance. "Try it for yourself," Buddha suggested. "Next time you feel anger rise within you, pause, and imagine your anger as the stone. Release it, and allow the soothing waters of kindness to wash over your heart." For the first time in a long while, Ananda felt a shift within him. The idea of releasing his anger, much like letting go of the stone, felt liberating. He was beginning to understand that anger didn't have to control him. He could choose to let it go, just as the stream never fought the rocks but simply flowed around them with patience and grace. Over the following days, Ananda practiced Buddha's teaching. Whenever frustration or anger began to rise within him, he would pause, take a deep breath, and imagine the cooling waters of kindness flowing through him. Slowly, he began to notice that his irritation didn't last as long, and he no longer felt consumed by it. The more he practiced, the easier it became to release his anger, just like releasing the stone into the stream. One day, while walking through the village, Ananda encountered a man who was known for his sharp words and frequent arguments. The man was having a heated discussion with a merchant over a minor disagreement. As the argument escalated, Ananda remembered Buddha's words and the image of the healing waters. Instead of getting drawn into the conflict, Ananda walked calmly to the two men, his presence peaceful and serene. "Perhaps, we can all take a moment to breathe," Ananda said gently. "Just as a river flows without resistance, let us allow our words to be like water, clear and soothing, not sharp and destructive." The two men paused, surprised by Ananda's calm approach. For a moment, the heat of their argument simmered down. Ananda took a deep breath and said, "Let us remember that kindness has the power to heal the most heated emotions." The merchant, who had been visibly angry, softened his expression. "You are right, Ananda," he said. "I should not have let my anger control me. Thank you for reminding me of the power of calmness." The other man nodded in agreement, his face relaxed. "Yes, kindness does have a way of soothing the soul." Ananda smiled, his heart filled with peace. He had not only healed his own anger but had also shared Buddha's wisdom with others, allowing the flow of kindness to calm the storm around him. Moral of the story: just as water has the power to soothe the heat of the sun, kindness has the power to cool the flames of anger. Anger may rise within us, but we have the choice to let it go, just as the stream flows around obstacles. By responding to frustration with kindness and compassion, we can transform our inner turmoil and bring peace to ourselves and those around us. True strength lies not in resisting emotions, but in letting them flow peacefully, like the healing waters of a calm river. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.